in this episode, we're going to choose your header. Now, it really is one of the most simple episodes, but there's 3 things I just want you to keep in mind. Okay, number 1 is don't spend more than 5 minutes on this episode. You're just going to choose a header, of which there's hundreds to choose from, and then I'm going to show you how to customize it. And I'll be racing through that customized header bit because it really is quite simple stuff, and the UI is fairly intuitive enough for you to work it out yourself. So use the timestamps if you want to skip ahead, or maybe even play this episode on double time. The second thing I want you to understand here is that I do need you to chosen a header before we move on to day 2, episode 1, where we build out your menus and navigation. So think of this episode as a precursor, as a quick setup before we get to day 2. So definitely just jump ahead, choose a header, and maybe choose some of the customized header preferences. You'll be flipping between the menus, the navigation area, and the header area tomorrow in episode 1. Okay? And the third thing to realize is, although we've got 100 pre-formatted headers here and we're always adding more, you can actually go and customize your own headers with HTML, CSS and JavaScript if you know code, but that's not part of the 5-day challenge. So stay tuned for later masterclass episodes where we'll focus on that. And if you don't know code, you might be able to learn code quite quickly when you watch these masterclass sessions, because the coding here is not so complicated. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Let's pick your header and then race through it, and we'll move on to the next episode. Okay, so here we are in the headers area, which you can access via the main menu. Go to styles, as you know, and then in the top bar we can click the headers tab, which will bring you through to the headers area, where you can see we've got hundreds of headers, and we're always adding more. But right now I've got header 17 as my default, which has got a logo on the left, it's got the menu, it's got search, it's got the action section, a shop, and the menu icon, as you can see here in the preview. Well, with there being so many headers, I can actually filter those. So I've got, you can see here, a horizontal header. I could also have a vertical header with a vertical on the left. But I could also filter via logo position. So left, center, and right. You can see here I'm on left, which is the default. And you can also choose what you want in the header. You can have basically a header menu, which also is a multi-menu. Okay, and you could have a menu icon, which is the menu icon which rolls out a drawer, or a menu section, which we're going to be explaining that in this episode. You can have an action section, which is your main call to action that rolls down a form, as you can see here. And you can have a shop. Of course, when you add items to a cart, that will display and it opens up what we call a cart drawer. And you can have a search, which opens up a quick search by default, or you can choose to link it to a full search page. Okay, so we'll be covering more of that as we go.